Hi guys, welcome back to another Move Me Yoga Food Live video. So we have another video request from a viewer, and their question is, when you have time, please make a video on living a simple minimalist lifestyle, basically staying away from malls and excessive consumerism. So I think we can start off by giving you guys an example of how we used to live.
Yeah, 7 years ago. So we owned a 3-bedroom townhouse in an inner city suburb, and it was full with all of the mod cons, full of furnishings.
3 bedrooms full of stuff, and each bedroom actually had built-in wardrobe as well, so the wardrobes were full.
Double wardrobes. And then we went away for 12 months. We took a sabbatical to travel, and we put all of the contents of that 3-bedroom townhouse in a storage unit. And when we came back, we
opened the doors.
And this storage unit was packed, floor to ceiling.
Actually, back it up a little, because one of the interesting things was when we took this 1 year sabbatical, one of the things we wanted to do was actually live really simply. And we kept journals during that time, and we started journaling before we left for that 12 months away. And one of the things I remember writing down was, I wanted to live like a snail. I wanted to carry everything, all my possessions on my back and just feel self-contained. And it was this interesting feeling of having so much. We were in our mid to late 20s at this stage and just feeling very overwhelmed with all the stuff that we had. And so this idea of taking time away from work and everything and traveling was also to sort of break away from the idea of being drawn into your home and your possessions and all this stuff. So the idea of sort of living a bit of a minimalist life started at that point.
That's true.
So we had a backpack each, and then a day pack each, and that's what we lived out of for the first 12 months. So when we got back to Melbourne and opened the storage door and saw our entire previous life possessions packed into this storage unit, we freaked out. We're like, oh my God.
We did. And so then we went ahead and we took a photograph of each individual item, taking them out of the unit one by one.
And it was like a Tetris thing, remember?
It was.
If you pulled one thing out, everything else was going to tumble.
Yeah, and then in order to pack it away at the end of the day, it had to be put exactly back how it was taken out. And anyway,
awful.
We had to write a description for each item and then load each individual item on eBay. And over the course of 8 weeks, we sold practically everything out of that storage unit on eBay. And it was a very liberating feeling, very, very liberating feeling. As each item was sold and we parted with, there was a sense of lightness that came with it. It was like a spring clean on a massive scale.
Biggest spring clean you could imagine. Yeah. So I think that 12 months away made us realize how simply we could live out of a backpack.
Yeah. We
didn't need anything that we used to live with, and we could let go of it very, very simply. We also lived in an ashram at that time for 3 months of that 12 months, and that really taught us how to live very simply.
You were just very grateful for a wash bucket to wash your undies in.
To have a bucket. That was the best thing ever.
Yeah. And then I remember after selling all of that stuff, we still had about 7 boxes left. And we put that in storage at your grandparents' house. Yeah. And then we went away for another 4 years. And then when we came back, we further sold and donated a lot of the contents of those 7 boxes. Yeah. And so when we decided to move from Melbourne to Brisbane, we were able to load all of our remaining possessions in our little 4-door sedan motor car.
Yeah.
And that was quite amazing, wasn't it? Being able to close the doors and the boot or the trunk and know that, all the material possessions you owned were contained within that motor vehicle.
It was very cool. And also in terms of living here now, we have 2 sets of everything. So 2 sets of towels, 2 sets of sheets. We went from having a whole cupboard dedicated to linen to just 2 sets of everything, and that works really fine. But what we wanted to mention was that the idea of living a minimalist lifestyle, it is relative. So we know people who have said, oh, I'm moving house, I've packed in 15 minutes. And we're like, wow, that is really simple living.
Taking minimalism to a new level.
Yeah.
So they would look at the way we live and not think it's minimalistic, and yet the standard Westerner would look at the way we live and go, well, that's quite minimalist.
Exactly. So going back to this person's question, we avoid shopping malls like the plague. We don't like them. We don't like this idea of mass consumerism, which means we would only go to a shopping mall if we really needed something that you could only get from a shopping mall. But we go in there with a very strict list of exactly what we need to buy, nothing more, nothing less. And we don't go in there just because there are sales, or we'll just have a stroll and see what we find, or I think I might like. We don't buy anything that we don't need. So we're wearing clothes that we've had for years. We just keep recycling. The shorts Luke is wearing, he picked up from the secondhand store for $5. He was so happy when he came home. Give everyone a look at your shorts.
Yeah, look at these things.
They're so cute.
$5. This was a designer pair that was originally probably, $40-50 in the store.
So, we just really don't care about fashion or what other people are wearing or what they think of us or whatever.
Our sun hats?
Oh, we'll show you our sun hats. Hold on, pause. So these are our sun hats. You do a little puppet dance. Yeah, so we've had these for
7 years.
But, they still go on your head and they protect you from the sun.
Still do the job.
We're still holding on to them. We also do things like I'll sew holes in socks. I won't just throw socks out because there's a little hole. Sew buttons on. So we just keep reusing our wear as much as possible. If we do need to buy something, we'll always ask people if they have the item that they no longer want, like our neighbours or our landlord or friends. Before we go and buy something new, we'll also go to the second-hand store, see what we can pick up there. So the last option is to actually go to a mall and buy something brand new.
Other things like how little rubbish we actually use, in terms of our food packaging, because we eat predominantly fruit, which we buy wholesale in big cardboard boxes. Simply reuse those cardboard boxes, and then when we've finished our use of them, we will recycle them. And then so our hard rubbish is really just, the packet that the pasta came in, or, the glass jar that the tomato puree for the pasta sauce came in. Yeah. So, for example, we only have to put our hard rubbish out every 2 weeks. And then even
it's got like 1 or 2 bags
in that time, it's only got, say 2 bags of that size of hard rubbish in 2 weeks for 2 people living in the West. It's quite...
So it's very simple.
Minimalist.
We don't drink, we don't smoke, we don't gamble, we don't have newspaper or magazine subscriptions.
Yeah, that's the motivation. Live simply so that others may simply live.
And you do feel lighter. The more stuff you own, the more your stuff owns you. We didn't have a phone for about 6 years.
We haven't owned a TV in about 7 years. Our laptop, I remember we had our previous laptop for 5 years.
We called it the dinosaur.
It needed all these peripheral things just to sort of keep it running and keep it cool and what have you. I guess our accommodation is quite simple, isn't it?
Yeah, we live in a converted garage. So we went from a double-storey 3-bedroom house to a garage. So we're going to do a little house tour, show you around.
But just to contrast it, isn't it? Many people in the West, they will put all of their sort of excess material possessions in their garages, and they can fill those often from floor to ceiling,
so
wall to wall.
The second fridge, a spare bed, all the toys.
Maybe a second TV or what have you. And yet we're living in a converted garage. So you don't need the latest, I think is what we're trying to say.
Absolutely. You can be very happy and just living simply and not being tied into image. Oh, this is another thing we were thinking of. Yes. The reason why people have so much stuff is because people care about what others think so much.
So, what you're trying to say is if someone else has got the iPhone 6 and you've only got the iPhone 4, well,
or what's someone going to think of my hat with holes in it? Or, do we have the latest fashion clothing? No. I don't care. I like my old clothing. Don't care what we look like or what anyone else is thinking of it. So I think that is a big factor in wanting to live a very simple and minimalist lifestyle, is just not caring what everyone else is doing.
Definitely.
So hope that answers your question. And now we're going to do a little house tour. So we'll show you exactly what we live in and what our stuff looks like. thanks so much. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Hope we've answered your question. Hope you've enjoyed the house tour.
Remember to live simply so that others may simply live.
Yes, leave a very small footprint on this beautiful planet of ours. And don't forget, one of the most important ways that you can live simply is with your diet, by being vegan first and foremost, and then high raw, low fat, eat a lot of fruit, and just minimize all your packaged foods. And that's another way of living very, very simply.
If you've enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Give it a thumbs up, share it around, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel for more of these videos. Till then.
Yeah, any more questions, please post them down below if you like these videos. We really enjoy making them, so please send us some more questions. Thank you so much for watching as always, and
See you
we'll see you next
episode.
time.
Bye guys.
Keep it simple.